Hey, it's Lynn Brown, and welcome to the Global Gritty Women podcast. You know, I'm so glad you tuned in today because I have this amazing friend and guest to bring to you today. And as I've shared with you before, I'm so passionate about this area of this gritty women mindset because for the first half of my life, I literally was trapped by the opinions of other people. And then in my spare time, it was like living in a mental prison. I was just caught in that comparison trap. And then one day I got sick and tired. I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I stepped out and I voted on me for the first time. I mean, I bet on myself. I had never done that before. And I will tell you, I've seen that quote 1,000 times since then, but Wayne Dyer was right. When I changed the way that I looked at things, the things that I looked at began to change. And it was mind-blowing. I mean, and I don't have time to get into all that today, but I'm just telling you, every area of my life is changing. And I say is changing because I am not there. I am no expert, but I'm better than I was. And I will always be every day trying to become the best version of me. And now I've committed the rest of my life to partnering with women who want to do the same thing. And so today, I want to turn the show over to my friend, Jo, as she shares her heart, she shares her passion and her purpose. And it's just one of those areas that oftentimes we may feel like we have to stay away from because we don't know what we can do. But she's going to come here and break it down for us and share how we can help join her movement. So, Jo, welcome to the Gritty Women podcast. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you so much for having me and giving me an opportunity to share with other people my passion to change the world through the fight to end human trafficking. And yes, I love what you were saying about being in a mental prison because these people are in a physical, mental, emotional prison. They don't know how to get out because of the manipulation, the coercion that is in their lives. They are helpless. And I spoke with a survivor on LinkedIn recently, and one of the things she said to me was, don't look at survivors as you're saving them. Look at them from the perspective that they have to save themselves. We're giving them the tools and the ability to save themselves. And we each have the power to change the world and to change what human trafficking looks like if we were to take these simple steps. First of all, look at what the passions are in your personal life and who you want to be. And maybe human trafficking isn't the thing that you want to do every day of your life, which is what I live and breathe. But there are little things you can do. I often tell people, okay, you don't have to become completely involved. You can change how you buy your chocolate. You can change how you buy your coffee. There are many things you can be doing to say, no, this is wrong. I don't want this, and I'm going to do what I can. And it can be bigger things. I had a friend, and she wanted to be involved, but she couldn't hear those dirty, gritty details. And she was so afraid of hearing more. When I spoke with her at one of our events, because she was making the cookies and the punch, and I was like, so what are you doing this for then? She said, because I know enough. I don't need to know those gritty, dirty details. I know enough, and I know it has to stop, and I have to do something. And I spoke with Lynn earlier, and one of the things that we talked about was I have the ability to cook and to bake. I could serve. However, I have been called to speak out. She has been called to serve that way. And so each of us has a unique piece. We had a girl who used to sit at the door, at the table, and help people come through the events. It can be something as simple as political activization by writing letters to Congress. It can be going online and sharing when you find anything on human trafficking where you're like, whoa, this needs to get out, and sharing that information. So there's so many little things that we can do. And, it's hard. It's not an easy thing. Years ago, I was brutally assaulted, and I've never been trafficked, but that assault, I was lucky to be alive. And I am a Christian, and I said to myself, God will redeem this. God will use this. And it's almost 8 years now, I saw a flyer in a window while I was waiting to go into the chiropractor, and it was about a movie called Call Plus Response, and they were doing a conference with this movie, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is it. So I went to the conference. I've been in the fight ever since. I have done multiple different things to work on building it. And now I am developing something called Do Something Matrix, and it is a way of coaching people through who are trying to become involved and want to find out how they best fit into the fight. But it doesn't take much, but it has to happen. It's very painful when you see someone and you know they're being trafficked. And that's a good thing to learn, to really understand what it looks like to be a trafficked person. They won't look you in the eye, because if they do, they're in trouble. They won't talk to you. There's different things that you begin to learn about. Does someone suddenly avoid their family? Are they carrying really expensive purses, or they have new clothing? There's little things that we can learn about the movement where we can begin to see it. The man, I'm sorry, I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he runs the missing and exploited children in America. And one of the things he said is, if you don't know if human trafficking is happening in your neighborhood, it is only because you are not looking. It is everywhere. Little tiny towns all the way to big cities, and very much grown and exploded, especially through COVID. It's exploding online. The rate has gone up exponentially. And, just a few years ago, I was at a truck stop with my daughter, and I saw a young girl, and I knew without any doubt, unequivocally, that she was trafficked. And my youngest daughter has Down syndrome, and as a mom, my job is to protect my daughter. I wasn't in a position to do anything to speak to her or try to help her in that way because of my daughter's personal situations and how she needed my help. So I remembered her hair, her clothing. I thought of every detail, and I called 911, and I didn't follow her out into the truck yard. And it was something that I regret deeply, because she walked out into a sea of trucks, and I've prayed for her ever since that she would get help. But they said, we're never going to find her. Truck could have gone anywhere. We don't know what truck she was in, but there's no way. And it broke my heart to be so close and yet so far away. My calling is to tell you that you have the power and the potential to change the world through your actions, and they can be very, very small. And they can be very, very big, and never underestimate your ability to be the change. If you want to know more about this, you're always welcome to reach out to me at joewhipp.com. You can also reach out to me through my email address. It's 21stcast. It's 21st Century Abolitionist Against Sex Trafficking at gmail.com. Just let me know if you have any questions. I'm always there to answer questions for you.
Wow, Joe, what a story of the day that you were there, in that parking lot, when you saw and you knew. And even though it as you said, it broke your heart, but because of that experience, it has driven you to the place that you are now and to the purpose and call in your life. And, what a powerful story that is. And it was so interesting because I was thinking about, just the whole word of gritty and what it means. And the G is for gratitude. And what I'm thinking about is all the girls and all the guys too right now that don't even know that one day they will be set free from that. And they will be so grateful when that time comes, but because of the work you're doing now. And then the R in gritty is for resilience and how resilient you are and how you are passing that along to people that you don't even have a face yet with, but you're resilient. 8 years ago, you were assaulted yourself, and you fell down, but we always say we fall down 7 times, but we grit up 8, so you have that resilience. And then the I is for inspiration. And wow, you have inspired me today, even though, this is not where I'm called. I know that I can do something here. And I did something today by having you on here, and I can be your megaphone. I can promote you. And the 2 T's in gritty are for thinking tough, because we have to be tough. This is not for wimps. And we gotta be aware and think about what we're thinking about and what we see. And Y is for, for you, for me, and for all our listeners. You just do you, whatever you feel called and moved to do, and however you can help. If you've ever considered anything like this, I would encourage you to lean in to Joe's work. And I know I've already connected her with my niece, who is also going to begin next week her work in the same fight to end this human trafficking. And so I just thank you, Joe, for being such an amazing gritty woman, and for taking this on, because you are a world changer. And we've seen this forever, but those of us that are crazy enough to think we can change the world are the ones that do. And so, here we go. Together is better. And I just want to thank you again for just sharing your time with us today. And
thank you so much for having me, Lynn.
You're welcome. You are so welcome. And to all of you gritty women out there, just let this be an encouragement to you. Whatever you feel stirring in your heart, just be willing to bet on yourself. Just be willing to step up and swing the bat wherever you are, and do what you can with what you have where you are. And until next week, let's remember that gritty is the new pretty, and gritty is the new strong. And gritty love will change the world. So I'll see y'all next week.